Good morning. I'm going to welcome you again to Practitioner Sunday. My name is Brittany Crist. My pronouns are she and her. And I'm going to start today with a shortened piece. I shortened it drastically for you, from a story called The Honors Class by Jenny Ivey. The motley-looking group of 11th graders didn't look like any honors U.S. history class I'd ever imagined. They shuffled into my classroom, which I'd painstakingly decorated with presidential portraits and colorful maps, with an attitude that was apparent even to a rookie teacher, which is exactly what I was, fresh out of college with a degree in history, a teaching certificate, and not a lick of experience. I was grateful to have a job, even if it was in one of the rougher high schools in the city where I lived. "Good morning," I said brightly. I was greeted with vacant stares. I am so excited to be selected to teach this honors class. They usually don't let first-year teachers do that. Several of the students sat up straighter and kind of looked at each other. Too late, I wondered if I shouldn't have tried to hide the fact that I had zero teaching experience. Well, we're going to do things a little differently in this class because I know that you all want a challenge. By now, they were kind of staring at me with weird expressions. First off, we're going to rearrange these desks. I want lots of discussion, so let's get in a big circle so we can all see each other's faces. Perfect. Now everybody choose a seat, and we're going to play a game. When I point to you, I want you to tell me your name and tell me what you hate about history. Finally, some smiles, and lots more as the class progressed. Amanda hated how history seemed to be all about war. Jose didn't like that you have to memorize a bunch of names and dates. Gerald was convinced that nothing had happened in the past that could possibly be relevant to his life. She said, "Why should I care about a bunch of dead white guys?" Caitlin hated She hated true-false questions, and Miranda despised fill-in-the-blank tests. We had just made our way around the circle when the bell rang. Who knew an hour could pass so quickly? Armed with the feedback my students had given me, I began formulating a plan. There would be no teaching straight from the textbook for this group. No read the chapter and answer the questions at the end homework. These kids were bright. They were motivated. My honors class deserved to be taught in a way that would speak to them. We'd study social and economic history, not just battles and generals. We'd tie current events into events from the past. We'd read novels to bring home the humanity of history. Tests would cover the facts, but also require higher-level thinking skills. No tricky true-false questions and no fill-in-the-blanks. At first, I was surprised by how many of my students struggled with grammar and lacked writing skills. It seemed to falter when they read out loud, but we worked on those skills while we were learning history. And I found that many of the kids were not only willing, but eager to attend after-school study sessions that I offered, and they even accepted the help of their peer tutors. The school year came to an end way too fast. Though I had grown fond of all of my students, the ones in my honors class held a special place in my heart. Most had earned A's and B's, and no one had averaged lower than a C. During our final teacher workday before summer break, the principal called me into her office for an end-of-year evaluation. "I want to congratulate you on a great rookie season," she said with a smile, "especially how well you did with your remedial kids." Remedial kids? I don't understand. I didn't have any remedial classes. Mrs. Anderson looked at me in a strange way. "Your first period class was remedial. Surely you saw that indicated at the top of the roll." She pulled a folder from her file drawer and handed it to me. "You must have suspected by the way that they carried themselves, by the way that they spoke, their reading skills." I opened the file folder and removed a copy of the honor roll from my first period, or the roll from my first period class. And there at the top, plain as day, in all caps, was the word honors. I showed it to Mrs. Anderson. "Oh dear," she said. "What a huge mistake. How did you ever manage teaching the students as though, I couldn't help but finish the sentence for her, as though they were bright? She nodded and looked a little sheepish. You know what, Mrs. Anderson? I think we've both learned a lesson from this, one that they don't teach in any of the education courses that I took, but one that I will never forget. Nor will I, she said, circling the word honors with a red marker before placing the paper back in the folder. Next year, I may just have this printed on the top of all of the rolls. As you guys know, I prefer to start off with humor, but when I came across this story, it felt perfect for today's topic of increasing peace and community with one another. What an incredible impact this teacher had on her students and her school. She looked for the good and she found it. She was a catalyst not only for peace, but also for change in her school and in her community. And I know she's already on board the peace train. Today we continue our CSL theme of Pieces into Peace, and our focus is on the power of coming together to increase the peace in our communities. Before we board the peace train, I'm going to recap the past couple of weeks. So Reverend Lane started off the month with her message, Peace, Please. Peace is the state of inner calm so complete that nothing can disturb it. I love that definition. She offered us a powerful spiritual practice when our peace has become disrupted. The path to peace is to stop, drop, and remember. Stop what you're doing, drop from your head to your heart, and remember who you are. From that space of connection to spirit, we can affirm the truth in every situation. We can also incorporate soothing and affirming activities like meditation, gardening, journaling, music, activities that strengthen our inner peace, our self-awareness, and our joy. Last week, Reverend Dieter talked about waking up to our oneness. He explored the ways in which the stories we tell about ourselves, others, and God determine what we experience. We're ultimately here to serve the divine in one another. I love that sentence. Oh. The invitation he offered is for us to reframe whenever you feel that you aren't on the right path. Whatever path you're on, career, relationship, health, is exactly the one that you're meant to be on. We don't have to go anywhere or do anything to get God to happen. God's already here and in motion. We only need to remember. And I loved Dieter's statement. The healing happens where I am, by me changing how I am, by me remembering who I am. If you missed either week, the talks are on our YouTube channel, CSL Tampa Bay. So that brings us to today. My talk title is inspired by the song Peace Train by Yusuf Cat Stevens. And when I thought about how we can increase peace in the community with one another, the song kept playing in my mind. This is how the song begins. Now, I've been happy lately, thinking about the good things to come, and I believe it could be. Something good has begun. Oh, I've been smiling lately, dreaming about the world as one, and I believe it could be. Someday it's going to come. Dreaming about the world as one. Yes, that's a vision many of us hold. We know that there is great power in coming together with a common purpose or vision. The concept of community is defined as a social unit with shared characteristics, such as place, culture, religion, values, customs, or identity. They can share a space or they can be virtual. The neighborhood that you live in, the club that you attend, the artist you follow, the cause you volunteer for. They're all examples of different communities. In Sanskrit, the word for spiritual community is Sangha. It's a place where people come together to support each other's spiritual growth and practice a culture of love, peace, and belonging. CSL Tampa Bay is a sacred Sangha. I feel it every time I walk into this space. And part of our work in the world is to be the peace we want to see and to be the peace that we do see. Now, I see mixed emotions, mixed expressions. I know that there is unrest and division in the world and in our country. I'm not always sunshine and unicorn glitter over here. There's an honest questioning in the Peace Train lyrics as well. Now, I've been crying lately, thinking about the world as it is. Why must we go on hating? Why can't we live in bliss? In the face of everyday division and unrest, how can we be the peace that we see in the world? In Matthew 8:13 of the New International Version of the Bible, Jesus said, "Let it be done just as you believed it would." Ernest Holmes said, "It is done unto you as you believe." For us to experience peace in our world, we must already be that peace and believe that peace is possible, because it is possible. Peace begins with me. I am the catalyst for peace in my community. Peace begins with you. You're the catalyst for peace in yours. On our own, that can feel overwhelming, and it can feel really hard to know what to do. But when we join together in community, we can feel the joined energy, the enthusiasm, the power that make the collective goal possible. When we come together with peace as our intention, we amplify it, and peace is revealed in our lives and in the community. There have been several scientific research studies where when just 1% of a population meditated for peace, the crime rates dropped in that population. Researchers termed it the Mariachi effect. In over 25 years, there have been close to 50 individual research studies, and they all had the same result. But it reminds me of how many times I see the power of community in my everyday life. People coming together after a storm or a natural disaster, during a medical crisis, the use of crowdsourcing like GoFundMe. It's all evidence of the power of a community coming together with a unified goal. In South Africa, there's a philosophy called Ubuntu. It means I am because we are. It denotes our interconnectedness. We depend on each other in ways big and small. To reach our full potential, both individually and as a society, we must help others achieve theirs. I am because we are. In those communities, when someone does something wrong, they're taken to the center of the village for 2 days, and they're surrounded by their tribe. During that time, their tribe speaks to them with reminders of all the good that they have done in their life. The belief is that each person is good, yet sometimes we make mistakes, which is really a cry for help. They unite in this ritual to encourage the person to reconnect with their true nature. The belief is that unity and affirmation have more power to change behavior than does shame and punishment. This is Ubuntu, humanity towards others. And what a lesson for us as friends, parents, teammates, leaders. Unity and affirmation have more power to change behavior than does shame or punishment. Are you ready to board the peace train? Get your bags together. Come bring your good friends too. Our cause is getting nearer. It soon will be with you. And come and join the living. It's not so far from you. It's getting nearer, and soon it'll all be true. Let's look at 2 sets of practices that can help keep the peace train rolling. The first is in regards to you, your inner peace. And then we'll look at ways to create more of a peace sangha. So first, how can you keep your inner peace train rolling down the tracks? The first is definitely to have a regular peace meditation practice. There are free meditation apps like Insight, Timer, Calm, Headspace, and there are lots of free meditations on YouTube as well. Whether you want to do guided, timed, silent, or spoken, there are so many ways to meditate. The second is to affirm peace daily with prayer and/or affirmations. You can create one of your own or use our affirmation for today. I preserve my peace by seeking out good in every situation. I am a catalyst for peace and harmony in my community. Declare it loud. There is so much power in your spoken word. And use the stop, drop, and remember practice when you're not feeling peace. If you want a deeper explanation of that entire practice, Reverend Slane's message was titled Peace, Please, and it's September 1st. All right, so community-wise, how do we board the peace train? There's just a few of the many, many opportunities, and I realize that a couple of them that I have in here were in Randy's announcements as well. So the first being our weekly prayer experience here at the center called the Weekly Word. It meets every Tuesday at 7 on Zoom. It's led by practitioner Ellen Fenner. The details are in the newsletter. You can reach out to Ellen or any of the practitioners for the link. But did you know that every Monday at 3, there's a Global Heart of Peace meditation on the main Center for Spiritual Living's Facebook page? We'll put the link in the comments and also on our Facebook members page so that you can find it later if that interests you. This Saturday, September 21st, is the International Day of Peace. At noon, in whatever time zone you're in, pause with the world for a moment of silence and peace. I love that. I hope that you'll all pause at noon and do that. What an incredible opportunity for us to do that together as a world. If you're not participating, there's a group called My Election Intention that is 100 days of mindful intention to tune out the fear and tune into the vision. You can go to myelectionintention.com or Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta for more information. I'm participating, and so far it has absolutely helped me to reframe my perspective on the election season and calm my uncertainty about it. I look forward to the daily messages and hearing from so many different voices. And lastly, you can pray as peace in a group. Create your own community where the intention is to increase peace. One way to do it is to focus your intention and intentions on tuning into the peace within yourselves and then consciously sending that peace out into your community. Dr. Ernest Holmes said, "Peace is always at the center of your own soul." There is power in the unity of community. When people come together with the intention of lifting their collective consciousness, they join together as peace. This really is ours to do, to be the peace we see in the world, to consciously live the concept of Ubuntu, creating a kinder, more connected world. We really do have the power to make a difference in the world. May you look into your own heart, and may we come together as a CSL Peace Sangha to be that peace. All aboard the peace train. I'm going to close with a little bit of humor, because I have to. A journalist assigned to the Jerusalem Bureau takes an apartment overlooking the Wailing Wall. Every day when she looks out, she sees an old Jewish man praying vigorously. So the journalist goes down and introduces herself to the old man. She asks, "You come every day to the wall. How long have you done that, and what are you praying for?" The old man replies, "I have come here to pray every day for 25 years. In the morning, I pray for world peace and for the brotherhood of man. I go home and have a cup of tea. I come back and pray for the eradication of illness and disease from the world." The journalist is amazed. How does that make you feel to come here every day for 25 years and pray for these things? The old man looks at her sadly, like I'm talking to a wall. Thank you.